When was the last time you were wrong? Or when was the last time you admitted you were wrong? I ask this question because this is one of the main qualities of successful people. A successful person can admit that they're wrong, or admit that they've made a bad decision or choice, or have made a bad action, or taken a bad action when they're working toward their goal, and they'll quickly admit it and change that behavior or that action so that they can continue to move forward and make progress. An unsuccessful person tends to not admit that they're wrong. And we all know people like this. They're never wrong. What they've done is never incorrect, and it's always someone else's fault that they didn't get the result that they expected. And I'll just throw something else in. You'll hear it, and if you haven't already heard it, as you're going and surfing the web or looking at other speakers or whatever, you'll hear people talk about the definition of insanity. And I've heard many people say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's typically what an unsuccessful person does. A successful person has a formula, or copies a formula of other successful people, and they realize that these same steps will get them to where they want to be. And if they find that one of these steps doesn't work, they can quickly admit, oh, this step didn't work, let me change something. They may not know if their change is going to work, but they understand that the current action that they're taking isn't working. And so you can't continue to do an action or perform an action that doesn't get you where you want to be. You have to admit that it didn't work. You have to take ownership that it was you who implemented this action and change it in order to move forward. And most successful people do this with ease. Most unsuccessful people will be pretty stubborn about it, and you know, they won't admit that they're wrong. They'll continue to do the same thing and expect that somehow things are going to change. Somehow the result is going to get better for them. You know, whether it be staying in a bad relationship, somehow you think, you know, that the person you're in a relationship with is going to automatically change or magically change somehow. Bad job, somehow you think if the conditions at work are bad, somehow you think, you know, things are going to change. You know, maybe you think a new boss will come in or whatever, but you have to understand, you know, and be realistic about it. Is this really something that's going to change? If I continue to do the same things or take the same actions or make the same movements I've been making all my life, am I going to get the change that I want and deserve? And I'll be honest with you, if you don't admit to your own mistakes, if you don't change your own mistakes, then you are getting what you deserve. And you are getting what you want, because you and I both know that as long as you continue to take the same action, you're going to get the result you got the last time. It's not a crapshoot. Success isn't a crapshoot. You don't get lucky and get successful. There are steps to it. There are steps. There's an action plan that most successful people have that they follow. And when things in that action plan don't work out, they quickly admit that it was a bad action and they change that action in order to move forward in their goals. Most unsuccessful people just don't do that. They'll either blame someone else, or they'll just ignore the failures or the real reason. They'll ignore the real reason of the failure, and they'll continue to take the same actions, and they never get anywhere. And so it's very important that we all develop the ability to admit that we're wrong. And not only develop the ability to admit that we're wrong, have the courage to change. You know, change is good. Change isn't always bad. You know, if you see something that's not working for you, you need to make a change. Otherwise, it's not going to magically change. Someone else is going to change it for you. If you want change in your life, you have to make that change. If there's something that's not going on in your life, you have to something that's not going on in your life that you want to happen, or if there's something bad going on in your life, you have to make the change. You have options. You have free will to do what it is you want to do or what you need to do to become a very successful person. The only person standing in your way is you. It's no one's fault but yours. But you have to develop the ability to say, I made a mistake. I need to correct this mistake. Or I'm doing something wrong. Let me take a step back. See where my point of failure is and let me correct it. And if I don't know how to correct it, let me go find someone who knows how to correct it.